is David Sushil. I'm the owner of Bad Pilcrow, a small independent game studio in Orlando, Florida. And my game is Vanessa Saint-Pierre Delacroix and Her Nightmare. I had about 6 people work on the game altogether. I did the design and the programming and project management. And then I have a brilliant illustrator by the name of Kyle Levitt, who did most of the game environments and the amazing cutscene at the start of the game. A brilliant narrator by the name of Pierre Bourge, who did all of the voiceovers in the cutscenes. Johnny Ashley out in California did the sprite animations. My wife Kimberly and I both did some voice acting for a few of the characters. And we had 2 musicians, Matthew Santiago and Matthew Cam, who both made the music and remixed it as well. I've been kind of a game development hobbyist my entire life. I started when I was maybe in the 4th grade on an early Mac Classic computer, and I've just always loved designing games. I have storyboards from when I was a kindergartner, basically. And over the years, just kind of taught myself how to program, how to do artwork, and eventually turned that into a career. Currently, I teach game and simulation programming at DeVry University, and in my spare time, I develop projects for Bad Pilcrow. I've never had this happen before, but I actually woke up one morning with the name of the game and the entire concept fully formed in my head. So I guess I must have been dreaming about it one night. And that day I actually started programming it. And within about 4 weeks I had a pretty decent prototype ready to go, and decided that it was fun enough and that I had enough free time that I could go ahead and pursue it wholeheartedly. In game development, I tend to focus more on the mechanics first. I like to design a game that is interesting for players to work with. It should be interesting in terms of its actions and what the player does. But the story is also integral. Players expect that games are going to have some sort of story component to it nowadays. And we felt that it was important as well to incorporate that into Vanessa. So we kind of framed the game around this story of a young girl who finds a mysterious puzzle box, and it breaks open one day and sucks her and her world inside. And I think that kind of enhances the emotional relevance of the game. It makes the players care about what happens to the characters and makes it a more solid product. We faced some technical challenges in putting together Vanessa Saint-Pierre Delacroix and Her Nightmare. The cube mechanic, the idea of having a 2D platform game mapped to a 3-dimensional cube, took some time to figure that out, and I did a couple of small prototypes to figure out how we would accomplish that. And it was definitely a technical challenge, but beyond that, trying to design levels for a game was difficult. You know, having to wrap your brain around this 3-dimensional object and figure out how to plot the critical path from the start of the level to the exit sometimes was a challenge. I really do love the 2D to 3D aspect of it. I think that's a lot of fun, and it was it was challenging to put that together and make those levels. But really, I just feel like all around, it's probably the most solid project that I've worked on. I never really had any problems finding time to work on the game. Game development is my passion. Some people work on old cars, you know, some people garden, but I make games. That's kind of what I do. So every free moment that I had was basically devoted to working on Vanessa over the last 6 months. If there are any students or hobbyists out there wanting to make games, I would suggest that they approach them as though they're an artist. And by that I mean make a lot of sketches. All right? No artist sits down and paints a portrait without doing a lot of research and sketches beforehand. So if you start a dozen games and finish one of them, that one game you finish will be so much better because of the experience you've gained along the way. So don't quit. Just any idea that you have, keep working on it, and eventually you'll come up with one that really hits with people and resonates, and that'll be hopefully what you'll be remembered for.